Rabbi Cohen would often preach to his congregation about the need to speak to children with love and with affection. One day he's out doing his gardening and he notices a group of children playing in the freshly laid concrete in front of his house. He becomes extremely angry and he starts screaming at them. At that exact moment, one of his congregants is walking past and he says, Rabbi, how can you speak to the children like that? The rabbi turns to his congregant and he says, I truly love children, but I love them in the abstract, not in the concrete. How many of us look in the mirror and say to ourselves, how did my parents manage to raise me? You know, the rabbis of the 12th century, when they were discussing the criteria necessary to be considered a judge, they said it was imperative that the judge had been married. Because if he hadn't been married, he would never have experienced tsar gidul bonim, the anguish and the pain and the challenges of raising children. There's this Yiddish phrase that my parents would often say to me. They would say, kleine Kinder, kleine Problemen, große Kinder, große Problemen. Small children, small problems, big children, big problems. In this week's Parshat Toldot, we read of Yitzchak Isaac, the second of our forefathers, and he shares with us a very crucial lesson when it comes to successful parenting. Yitzchak and his wife Rebecca, Rivka, are blessed with twin boys, Yaakov and Esau. Yaakov is a tzaddik, is a righteous man, while his brother Esau is a rasha, is a wicked individual. It therefore seems somewhat surprising that the Torah tells us that Yitzchak truly loved Esau. Let us examine the verse that speaks about Yitzchak's love for Esau. The verse says, Vayehav Yitzchak es Esau ki tzayid bepiv. That Yitzchak loved Esau, but the love for Esau was, so to speak, based on false pretenses, that somehow Esau was able to deceive him. The great Chassidic master, Rabbi Yacov Barber, offers a very profound and sublime interpretation of this verse. He says that Yitzchak was able to see certain character traits in Esau that no one else could. Yitzchak saw that within Esau there was goodness. However, that goodness was tzayid, it had been trapped. And how were we to bring out that goodness? Bepiv, with the mouth. Yitzchak knew if he could create a bond of words of love, words of affection, then somehow he would be able to change Esau, and perhaps Esau would no longer be the wicked son. Yitzchak knew that even though his boys were twins, they were very different, and therefore they needed to be parented in a totally different manner. You know, somebody once asked a rabbi, tell me, how many children do you have? And the rabbi said, 1. The person said, Rabbi, I know at least that you have 9 children. Yes, I may have 9 children, but I have 1 Moshe, 1 Benny, and 1 Leah. Same father, same mother, but very, very different children. Somebody once came to a rabbi and he said, Rabbi, I don't understand. God bless us with 6 children. 5 of them give us so much joy, so much nachas. But 1 child causes us so much pain, so much agmas nefesh. And I don't understand, we brought them up all the same way. To which the rabbi responded, well, that was your first mistake. You see, every single child is different, and each child needs to be parented in a different manner. And that, of course, is what King Solomon said. King Solomon in Proverbs writes, Chanoch lenar al pi darko, that one needs to educate one's child, each child, in a path that is suitable for that particular child. However, without question, no matter what type of child we may have, we need to shower that child with love, with affection. We must nurture that child. We may never slam the door on our child. There was once a person who came to see the Rebbe in a private audience, seeking his blessing and his advice. He had been blessed with many children, And he felt that one child was having a very detrimental impact on the rest of his children. And he felt it would be appropriate then perhaps to send that child to live with another family. And he was seeking the Rebbe's blessing. The Rebbe responded that sometimes sending a child away from home is not such a terrible thing. However, in this particular case, what he needed to do was to send all the other children to live by other families. And the child that he felt was causing pain and grief and was impacting the family negatively, that child needed to remain at home because that child needed more love than all of the other children. Let us remember that children are a gift from God. And let us try and emulate our forefather Yitzchak by bestowing true love, even on our most challenging child. Thank you.